It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Thank you for watching GBS TV. This is on Chungu Jamii. Today I have a guest in studio and we are going to be looking at a topic that most of us struggle with. My name is Betty Akuku. I am your host and we are going to be talking about handling rejection. I don't know whether you have been rejected, whether you have felt and interacted with someone who has been rejected. I have Catherine in studio and she's going to be talking to us about details of this and many more. Please stay tuned. Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Catherine Kangangi. I'm a counseling psychologist and a mediator, and I'm humbled to be here today to talk about rejection, and I'm sure at the end of the show at least most of us will have gotten a solution or a way forward on how to handle rejection. And they won't have to keep on holding back to the emotions and the feelings they had to go through while they were rejected at one point in their lives. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, Catherine. Good to have you at GBS today. At Chungu Jamii, we talk about majorly family issues and issues in the society. And today talking about rejection. I guess relationships are the ones that, you know, is a place where many people are rejected. It's a place where we face this kind of vice. Please tell us what exactly is rejection.
So rejection, in a layman's language, it's being pushed away by someone, or maybe when you're trying to do something and doesn't go through, you know, that act of being pushed away, being turned down, or maybe feeling unloved. Maybe you've been in love with someone and they don't love you back. Yeah, rejection can also be being sidelined or being put aside. Yeah, so it involves the acts of being ignored generally. So in most of the cases, you realize that at one point in our lives, we have faced rejection in one way or the other.
At least,
yes.
At least once.
At least once. And there are people who experience rejection even from birth. But that doesn't mean that rejection is supposed to define someone. No. What rejection, the most important thing when you're discussing rejection is to know how to handle it. So before we get there, at least we need to know what happens. So that people can get to understand whether they've ever been rejected or not. Maybe some have even gone through it, but they don't even know.
They don't know that is what they're suffering.
Yeah, they don't know what they...
I like what you say, that some people are even rejected from birth. You know the way a mom gives birth, they're probably a teenager, they're not ready to be a mom. They don't know what to do with this baby. They are not able, even financially and economically, to take care of this baby. Even emotionally, they are actually not prepared to be moms. And so they take care of this baby just because they have to. But this baby is actually rejected, you know, even by the grandma. You know, he or she is not welcomed anywhere by anyone. Even the mother feels like, I also do not have the kind of heart to love this baby because this baby is a mistake. You know, this baby has come at a time when it was not wanted. And so I get it really that you can be rejected from birth and you grow up not knowing that this is what you have suffered. Please tell us, what are some of the reasons that would make someone to be rejected?
As I said before, rejection is being unloved. You see, sometimes you can love someone who does not love you back. So that is already rejection. Other times, you can be doing a research, maybe for your master's or degree, and then you present it to your lecturer. And you know, in most cases, when you're presenting, because I've also presented before, you're very happy about the project that you're doing.
And the effort you have put in it.
And the effort and the money, the time, there is, you know, everything that you've put into it. But once you present it to the lecturer, they turn you down. Some will tell you to repeat. Some will tell you maybe the language is not good enough. Others will say there are grammatical errors. Others will say, like they even, you know, sometimes it can also be on the side of, in your own thoughts, when you're coming up with the research, you may be thinking that is the best thing that, of course, you offer the best. But now again, when you present it to the person who is going to take you through, they feel like maybe you're out of topic, it is out of line, you're not into context. Some may feel like you copy-pasted.
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes it can be very annoying and frustrating to the person who came up with the information. So that's why I'm saying, in most cases, we've gone through rejection, but we don't know. So you can imagine, maybe that is the second time you're presenting the paper. And then again, and you're expecting to graduate together with the others.
Yeah.
Then again, you're not able to graduate. You have to go back. And there are people who even give up along the way. There are people who even take 2, 3, or 4 years, or even 5 years before they graduate just because of research. You know? So there are many reasons as to why someone can be rejected. Again, we said you can be rejected from birth. Maybe your mother gave birth to you and it was unplanned pregnancy. So, you know, so every time they look at you, they feel like they could not have gotten you that time. Maybe because of the struggles they're also going through.
Yeah.
Maybe again, the community never accepted your mother in the first place. So sometimes those forms of rejection happen due to several factors. And then again, it can also be because of adoption. Imagine maybe your parents passed on and you're an orphan. Then you come to realize later that you've been adopted. And you know, sometimes there are those who don't tell their kids when they adopt them at the right age. So then again, there are those who will hear from the hearsays at the community. No, sometimes even the kids, when they're playing, they'll tell you, no, you're not
Those are not your real parents.
Yes, those are not your real parents, you know. Yeah, you're not my real brother. And you know, it really hurts. So someone will feel devalued, they may not understand what really could have happened. So there are those forms of rejection.
Yeah, you could also get rejected probably because you are born with an abnormality,
Yes.
with a defect, you know.
Exactly.
You don't look like the others do,
Yeah.
you know. Just normal deformities in the society. Maybe one limb is short,
Yeah.
one eye, something, you know, just something. I don't want to call it a disability because that may not be it. It's just the way someone has been born, not looking similar to the other siblings. So the mother or the father feels like, no, this is an outcast, this is a taboo, this is not good enough, we can't carry on with this. And so this child is just rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we still have any other reasons why someone could be rejected.
Yeah.
Can
There's-
someone...
Yeah, there are still others. Sometimes you apply for a job. There are people who apply, I've also applied before. So you get a regret. Imagine you getting a regret twice or thrice. And maybe the person who gets the job finally happens to be someone you know. And maybe in some instances you may feel like you're more competent than them, but they got the job. You may feel like they either ignored you, they either didn't want to give you a chance. And in most of the companies will tell you that you're overqualified. That has become very common. So sometimes even the continuous acts of rejection can lead to stress, you know? So, and then again, you can also get a job, and then later along your line of duty, you're not in terms with other people just because you have different opinion. Maybe you're innovative, and maybe in an organization they don't like people going out of their way. You know, they want you to stick to their own culture.
Yeah.
So then again, you may find a little bit, or you may find some resistance from your own colleagues. Other times, you may feel like you're getting disappointed, like they're trying to frustrate the process. When every time you give an opinion and no one takes it seriously, you know, no one wants to follow it up, no one is there to even encourage you, maybe to proceed on and come up with other better ideas that can help an organization maybe perform better or maybe improve in their way of doing things. So sometimes even when people are working, they can be rejected. Yes.
In their place of work.
At their place of work. And there are those that have even ended up losing jobs. Like I once lost my job.
Because of rejection.
Yes. Because, yes, according to me, I felt like I was rejected just because I had different opinions from other people. And of course, because of other factors as well. So at times, these things happen. And you know, at the end of the day, we are all unique. So at one point in our lives, you may differ with another person. So the next time you're trying to say hi to a friend, they also ignore you. That's another form of rejection. So maybe we are in a debate, and I'm not in agreement with what you're saying. I have different opinions. You know, we have different reasoning. So there are those who become personal. So you may feel like, okay, how comes you're my friend, but you're still saying this and that? I expected you're supposed to support me.
That is also rejection?
Yes, because remember we said rejection is when you feel ignored. So remember, now that is a discussion that you're just having. But then rejection comes in later when maybe the following day you come across the same person and you say hi to them and they're not ready to talk to you. They ignore you, they snub you, you know. Yes.
Where do you draw the line between being rejected, you know, and someone just minding their own business, you know? Sometimes you're too childish, you're expecting too much from people than they can offer. And sometimes you're the one who is getting into their space by wanting acceptance and wanting them to do things your way, you know? How do you tell the difference?
It only comes in, remember from the definition we said, rejection is being ignored, being unloved, sidelined, you know, like it involves a number of factors.
Yes, because you don't expect people to welcome you everywhere.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
People have to ignore, people have their own businesses. You cannot be the center of focus where you go, in your home and in the office. This cannot happen, you know? And when people mind their own business, and they don't want to get engaged at all times, then that is rejection?
What happens is, if you come up with an idea and you feel it's good, like the idea should be implemented, then again, the person you're airing the idea to doesn't even give you a chance to listen to you. Or maybe they listen to you and they'll never get back to you. You may feel like, you know, silence communicates a lot. So you may feel like either they're trying to ignore what you're saying, so there are chances you may not want to come up with another idea because you don't know how this person is going to respond.
True.
And then again, you see, if you repeat the same thing again and it still happens, then it means those are
they're not
good
buying
signs
your
enough.
idea.
Yes, they're not.
There's something I've learned growing up, that I am not always right. I can be wrong anytime. If anyone knows this, do you think they can still push and push for their agenda, you know, to be upheld, for their idea to be accepted? If you actually reckon that I am the one who can be wrong anytime, I am not always right. Unless you are the standard, then you can say, I did this and it was rejected. Because then other people also have ideas. Other people also need their space, you know, and I can not always expect that things will go this way for me.
You see, there's a difference between rejection and being manipulative.
Okay.
Yes. So being manipulative is like forcing your way. It's like bullying. You're trying to coerce. You're trying to threaten people so that you can find your own space, but through a forceful way. You know? So you try to manipulate another person to feel your impact even when they don't want to. So, and sometimes they go, the continuous acts of the bullying and being sidelined, then again we lead to the rejection.
Let's look at the family setup. Children who have been adopted into the family, or relatives whose parents probably passed away and now they have been moved to the next house just within the same family. Like a brother loses his brother, and so the children have to come and live with him. So in this case, this is like their stepdad and their stepmom, you know. These children often complain also of being rejected, being sidelined, you know. How are they supposed to continue living moving forward? Because the truth is, these are not their biological parents. Things can never be the same again. Like when my mom and dad were there, things were so different, you know. So I have come into this new family setup, And I am looking at everything, and my judgment and view is I am rejected. You know, is that rejection, first of all?
Rejection, you see, rejection comes in through your actions.
Through my actions.
The way you're acting towards another person. And we've given several examples.
Yes.
Like now, in the example that you've given, rejection will come in when I don't feel the impact. That child doesn't feel the impact of the parent. Like if the parent is absent in their life, you know, if the other children are being favored over them, you see?
Then that is rejection.
Yes. They will feel they're being ignored. How will you buy everyone clothes?
Yeah.
But you don't buy me?
Yes.
Assuming now I'm the adopted child. So how do you expect me to feel? There'll be a lot of question marks, you see? And you know, we are all human beings. Even kids have feelings.
Yeah.
And they learn well through observation. So at the end of the day, they are seeing what the other person is. They are seeing how the parents are behaving. They are seeing how the kids are behaving. And then again, they can also call them names, you know. They can also make them feel like they are not wanted. They can devalue them. Maybe when you're giving them food, you don't give them the same portion of food. Yes. So you see those being favoring others over the child or over the adopted children that you have. So with time, these children will learn that there's something wrong with them. And the moment now they try investigating and they realize that, okay, they don't belong in that house. They are not, the people who are adopting them, of course, they're not their biological parents. They begin to act.
What do you think would be some of the effects that would come out from rejection? Because when I look at such kinds of children, I don't see them growing up in a healthy way emotionally. You know, they have lots of things they have to bottle up. They may not have the space to talk about their issues freely. What are some of the effects that rejection comes with?
Maybe allow me to take you back, or maybe to mention, before we get to the effects, it's also important for us to look at the types of maybe forms of rejection. And according to the research that I did, there are 4 main types of rejection, though there can be several forms of rejection. So the main ones are familial rejection. This is whereby your own family of origin, leave alone the adopted child, your own, you know, your blood brothers and sisters and relatives reject you. And I'll give the same example I gave you before. When you don't feel the impact, when you don't feel loved by your own parents, then you may feel rejected. Maybe you've been given assignment, and in the evening you expect your parents to help you out, but they come late. So the person who is there to help you out is their house help. So, and then maybe during the day you've had a hard time. You could be going through a lot of issues, but you don't get someone you can talk to. One, your parents are not even, they are absentee parents. They are never involved in what you're doing. When they come late, they just ask you, have you eaten? Go and sleep. I'm very tired. We'll talk tomorrow. Then again, the following day, they still won't have time for you. So you feel like you don't belong. You know, you want to bond with your parents, but there's no chance. And then, again, there are people who have issues, family issues, maybe because of land, maybe because of, and they feel one person is being favored over others. You see? So, again, the forms of rejection comes in. Someone you feel like, I'm not loved, yet I'm part of the family. And then again, there's this issue, most people will say, the rich, okay, in every family, we have a well-up person, at least 1 or 2. In most cases. So sometimes you'll hear people say, just because I don't have money, there's someone who's always favored, and they seem to make major decisions in their house. Just because they have money. So you see, again, that person is feeling rejected and unloved, just because they don't have material possession. So they feel their voice does not count. And we have such parents who favor such kids. And then again, we also have parents who favor children because they perform better than others. You see?
Yes.
And then we forget, even the ones who don't perform, you know, we have different IQs.
True.
Yes. And it is good to understand every child. Take time to understand and learn your child, and then give them the support that you can.
Yeah.
So maybe those examples, I hope I've explained enough what familial rejection is. Yeah. And then again, we also have social rejection. Social rejection is whereby maybe you're in a group, like us women, we belong to many chamas, you know, to many groups,
Yeah.
unlike the men.
Yeah.
So if you're in a certain group and all of a sudden people don't want to involve you, people are not telling you when they'll be meeting. They're no longer updating you on what is happening when you're absent.
You.
And they used to update you before.
Yeah.
Like you observe these abnormal behaviors all of a sudden. So again, then you feel ignored. Why are people ignoring me?
True.
And maybe when you try to call one of the members, they give excuses.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm busy, I'll get back to you, but they never get back.
And that's social.
Yes. And then again, you may even go to the group. Maybe one of the days that you've organized, you'll be meeting, you're present. Then again, no one asks for your feedback. No one asks for your input. And when you give your input, people don't seem like they're putting so much consideration into it. Then again, as a human being, how do you think you'll feel?
Of course, you feel demoralized.
Yes, and remember, these are things that are just happening, and they never used to happen before. So that's why I'm saying maybe they are abnormal according to that setup. So then again, you can be rejected in a relationship. Where now, again, we go back. You said when we began, you can love someone, and maybe the person you love, they don't love you back. But there are people who are not able to tell you, like maybe you're falling in love with you, if you're a man. And then you take your time, you waste my time. Let me say you waste my time. Because all along you know you don't love me, but you don't want to tell me because you don't want to disappoint me. But you see, in the process of you not wanting to disappoint me, maybe you're seeing another person.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping my hopes high on you. So what happens now finally when you tell me maybe you don't love me back?
Of course, you get disappointed.
You become disappointed.
Yeah.
And then again, what follows? There's a lot of anger.
Yeah.
And stress, you know? And that is why sometimes, especially men, you've heard of late, there has been very many cases of men killing women because of being rejected. You heard of the Form 3 student who was killed just because she never fell in love with the person who loved her. So what you think is easy to you and you are in a position to handle, another person may not be in a position to handle it as well. So sometimes when we are listening to news and we hear all these things happening, we may think, okay, that's an easy thing. How would you just kill someone because they told you they don't love you? And yet there are 1,001 people, 1,000,001 people in this world.
I know.
But then again, to this person, they feel
it's such a big thing.
It's such a big thing.
Yeah.
But you see, as much as it is a big thing, it does not mean you should take someone's life just because they never loved you back.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
The other two, which ones?
Yeah, no,
the social one is very interesting.
Yeah, apart from the social one is most common, especially even in our country. Almost everywhere, it is the most common. We talked about the relation. That was the third one. It is not the social one. Yes. The one I was describing right now is rejection in a relationship.
Okay.
And then there's also rejection when you're dating. That now you have someone you love, and you love each other, and you seem to be doing well. You ask someone for a date, but they're not ready to take you out for a date. Yes.
So you feel rejected.
Yes,
Let's look at the effects, because all the things you have explained, I'm trying to look at the example where someone cannot see the other millions of people, but they're committing suicide for this one person, you know? What are the effects that rejection comes with? Now,
the effects of rejection are, what should I say? the forms of the effects of rejection are almost the same. They bring so much pain, just like the pain you feel when you're physically hurt. And the reason being, the areas of the brain where all this takes place are activated. They bring the same activation. Like when there's physical pain, that specific area of the brain is activated, will also be activated when you're experiencing rejection. So the amount of pain is almost the same. Yes, and that is why most of the times it may lead to chronic loneliness. That means, from the examples we've all given, when you're rejected, you may feel like you want to stay alone. You feel like you're not loved anymore, you're devalued, you don't
leads
belong.
into loneliness.
So it will lead to loneliness. And then again, it can also bring depression. Remember we talked about parental rejection and having an absentee parent. So a child feels the mother, you know, there's no much love they are receiving from their mother. That can also affect their performance. Even in school. So it can lead to poor performance at school. It can also lead to you're not able to relate well with others in class. Yes, because of the traumatic experience.
Your social development becomes so low, and then you can commit suicide.
Yes. Now, the other issue is we talked about depression. Remember, depression, you can't just say someone has had depression just because they are feeling lonely, just because they are angry, just because they've lacked appetite, or, you know, there are many signs that can lead to depression. But remember, for you to say that someone has depression, they must exhibit or show some signs and symptoms that have been occurring for a period of more than 2 weeks. You see? So that way, then you can tell that someone is having depression. Because someone can just be stressed. You can be stressed when you're rejected, but along the way, you're able to cope. Which is very different with someone who is not able to cope. So then again, when this person gets to the depressive phase and they have not gotten help, they can think of taking their lives. Then that is another effect. It can also lead to suicide.
Try to ask Catherine comprehensively on how to handle not depression, but to handle rejection, you know, because if people know that this is going to happen someday, I can get into a relationship and be dumped. I can get a job and my opinions are not bought. I can give ideas and no one even considers them. You know, I can be the CEO and no one follows me, no one takes my orders. If people know these things, why would they still feel rejected? How are you supposed to handle such cases when they come to you?
What happens is people need to be psychoeducated on how to handle rejection. And one of the ways we tell people is to acknowledge the emotions. Instead of you suppressing the pain, the anger that you have, just express it.
Let it out.
Let it out. You're a human being. There are good and bad times. There are good and bad, you know, there's a season for everything. Let me just say that in short. So the moment you suppress this anger, it's then again leading to acts of stress, and then eventually, if you're not helped, it leads to depression. So it is important to acknowledge your emotions, let them out. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling isolated, let's speak them out. And then again, it's good to stay focused. Remember, we said that people get rejected from birth, and we try to give a few reasons. Now, being rejected does not mean it should define you. I told you sometimes back, I've also lost a job. Okay, according to my thinking, I felt like I was rejected. Yes. And then again, because I believed in myself, I still got better jobs. And today I'm where I am. Because I kept my shoulders high, my head high, and I believed in myself. I stayed focused. So it is important to also let others know that these are normal processes in life, and sometimes we are not in control of them. Yes.
So that you don't go committing suicide because you've been rejected.
Yes.
You don't stop education because you've been rejected. You swear not to get married because someone has dumped you.
Yes.
But how are they supposed to learn these kinds of values, because if you have grown up, you are now 30, and then someone dumps you and you want to commit suicide, it means growing up you never learned any values. When are you supposed to do that? Isn't it too late to now learn values to help you cope just with simple rejection like that? And yet, like you said, there are millions of people in the world.
Remember, every day is a learning day. You know, and we never stop learning. I'm still in school, and I feel like I should not be in school right now.
Yeah.
But then again, when I go to school, I still find people who are older than me, and we're in the same class. So what does that tell you? Sometimes, as much as maybe you never learned this at a younger age, experience is also a good teacher. With time, you learn to harden. You learn to realize that people have different personalities. And the way you behave towards people is not the same way people behave towards you. Just because you're kind to someone else doesn't mean they're going to be kind to you. You know? Yeah. So those are some of the things that you learn with the experience. So then again, it is also important because of the high, we are talking about mental health illnesses. Of late, we've been having quite many conditions in the country, and people have been diagnosed with mental illnesses because of they are not being informed, they are not being psychoeducated, they are not being sensitized. So it is important even in schools when children are taught about mental health related topics. They're taught about bullying, they're taught about now handling rejection, you know, college, universities. I have a counseling firm that is based in Ruiru. And last year, November, December vacation, we had a program for those who are joining university. And we talked to them about how to handle rejection and how they should carry themselves when they are
Rejected.
No, when they are rejected, and how they should carry themselves when they're in university. Because again, remember, even as they are joining, they are given distorted information. So by the time they are getting there, no one is really there to give them the right information. So for us to avoid that, we do that by giving information. Like, what are we doing right now? We are psycho-educating people. The people who are going to be listening will learn how to handle rejection. So then again, they will also teach others. We tell people, I was taught. So I expect
teach.
that, yes.
I get it. I want us to take a short break. We are coming back just now. Viewer, our SMS line is 21144. I am here with Catherine talking about handling rejection. And I had asked you earlier, have you been through this phase of life where you are rejected by your very own? You're rejected in your place of work. You're rejected and your ideas are not bought by anyone. Stay tuned. We are coming back just now. Viewer, welcome to
Chungu Jamii.
My name is Tigist Hailu.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruben West
I'm Dr. Charles Mukuka
from the United States of America.
I come from Ethiopia.
from Zambia.
I love Kenya very much.
I love the Kenyan people.
Love is not by confession. Love is by action.
Come on now.
When you are a husband, you are not a husband.
It's very important.
You can count the seeds in an apple, but you can never count the number of apples in a seed.
Her phone is her phone. My phone is my phone.
You only know what you know.
Who forced you?
The more you spend time together, the more strong you
A woman is like a Bible.
Could tell me that they were born and it wasn't from a female, I'd like to know.
A woman, she's a good asset. And a woman, she's a very, very good investment.
When you're up, your family knows who you are. But when you're down, you'll figure out who your family is.
Thank you so much. Hello, viewer.
The woman is burdened with so much, such that they don't have time for themselves.
If you don't go after what you want, there's going to be hurt, there's going to be disappointment, there's going to be regret, there's going to be let down.
I love people.
People will always have a view.
They will always have an opinion.
Whether you like it or not.
It's always there.
People will put you in a shame box.
You have to love yourself first.
I'm not that person.
It should come from deep conviction, and I'm talking about conviction. I'm not talking about emotional giving.
Then that should pose a big problem.
A man won't handle that. They will just run.
Families break. Marriages don't exist anymore.
There's so many people out there pretending like they don't have the problem. Pretending like their relationship is not on the rock.
What was that?
That's nonsense.
Get lost.
No. I think that is wrong.
Go ahead, tell me. I'm waiting.
Who questions you?
We're moving on swiftly.
Moving on swiftly, right?
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back. We are here talking about handling rejection. Catherine, before we went on the break, we were talking about the effects, and you already mentioned a few. I guess there's still some more effects of rejection that we see.
Yeah, now, besides the depression that I've talked about, it can also lead to trauma, because remember, when these continuous, when you're rejected continuously, you become traumatized. Then again, it can affect your well-being, it can affect the way you relate with others, it can relate your performance in different ways. So it can also lead to trauma. And then again, it can also lead to abuse. Like, there's a research that was done, that I was reading, that was done, okay, not in Kenya, in US, that showed that most of the men who went through traumatic childhood experiences abused their intimate partners. Because maybe they were never loved, they were never given a chance to express themselves, they don't know how themselves well. So sometimes it leads to abuse, but people don't know how. So it can lead to that. And then again, remember we said that the rejection can lead to, the pain that you feel when you're rejected is the same as the physical pain, because the brain pathways that are involved during the physical pain are also activated when you're experiencing rejection. So then again, that leads to stress. And it can lead to, it can also affect your mood. So sometimes you feel, other times you're not happy, other times you're happy, other times you're confused, you don't know how to maybe deal with the situation. So there are long-term and short-term effects. The long-term effects, the long-term psychological effects is trauma, it is depression, it can lead to the abuse, and then sometimes it can also lead to suicide.
Okay, so today we're talking about handling it. You know, managing it. How do we do that? Because if I was born with a deformity, you know, and then I come to realize that I have never been accepted in the family, in the society, I also realize that I was adopted, and this is the reason I find this different treatments from my other siblings. I also get to learn, you know, very well, and now it's affirmed in me that I am a rejected child. I am facing rejection in this and this sector. How am I supposed to handle this?
Okay. We had already talked about one form of maybe handling rejection, and we said acknowledging your emotions. Yes, it is a painful process, and you have to go through the pain for you to embrace it, for you to learn from it. So one, after you've acknowledged the emotions and you're able to maybe express yourself, then again, it's important to understand your current situation. Take time to evaluate yourself.
So like I go tell people, when I acknowledge, then I realize, oh, everyone else walks on 2 limbs or 2 legs, but I only use one, and it is okay, this is me. I don't hide it anymore. I talk about it freely. That's acknowledging.
Yes, acknowledging is feeling the expressing your emotions. Like if you're feeling pain, or if you're feeling the emotional pain, it's not the physical pain. If you're feeling the emotional pain and you feel like you want to cry, you're feeling sad, express that, but to the right person. The right person is someone that you feel values you, someone who is close to you. Then from there, that person will be able to help you. And they can maybe get a support group for you. Support group means they get people who are also going through your current situation, or who are going through the same disability as you.
And they
then
can
you
walk
realize
along
that
with
you're
you.
not alone. You realize, okay, there are other people who are also suffering just like me, and this is how they've been able to walk out of that phase.
Yeah.
So it gives you so much hope to feel that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yes, and to know that there are people who have even gone through worse traumatic experiences than you, and they were still able to cope. Though at the end of the day, we also don't compare situations.
Yeah.
Situations are different, and everyone has their own experiences, and everyone deserves to be listened to. Then again, it's important to get focused. That is where we were at. Get focused and know that this is me, I have a disability, or this is me, I was rejected at my place of work. So how do you know yourself?
Okay.
Do you believe in what others told you about yourself? Then it is also a time for you to reflect. So get time to reflect. Get time to think about the whole process. What was it that I was able to do? You know, sometimes you can be ignored because of your actions. Maybe they were negative, and someone never gave you feedback in the right way.
Yeah.
You know, there's a way you can give someone feedback and they're able to change. Yeah, they're able to change, or maybe to own up to their behavior. But then again, if someone just comes and attacks you, you may feel like at the end of the day, this person is just attacking me. They're not after my well-being. But then again, there is that feedback you're given, like when you lose your job and then someone tells you, you lost your job because you did this and this. Maybe next time, in case you get employed somewhere else, you may consider looking into this behavior because it can affect you in future. You see, that is someone who, as much as you're going to feel pain, you already know the reason why
you have been rejected.
Yeah,
and you
you were
have lost the
rejected,
job.
or maybe something never went through, or you were never retained at your place of work.
Is it advisable? What would you advise to those who feel they have been rejected, but feel it is unfair, and so they want a payback time, they want to revenge, you know? They walk out, yes, feeling rejected, and say, payback time is coming, and I'm gonna be the one who will do it.
You see, people are different. When this person is going back to revenge, people think they'll feel less hurt when they're able to do the same, when they're able to repeat the same acts to other people, the same acts that were done on them to other people. But in real sense, it traumatizes you even more. What happens if you went, if someone set you up at your place of work and you lost your job, and then you go and try to do the same to them, and they don't lose their job, how will it make you feel? You see, you will not have achieved what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So it will end up hurting you even more. And even in cases where maybe you may achieve by doing a negative thing to someone else, maybe by tarnishing someone's name and they lose their job, at the end of the day, it will still hurt you. It will still guilt hounds. So, and because we are human beings, you'd always feel like, I should not have done this and this.
I should not have done that.
Yes.
I get it.
So
look
to
at the
avoid-
family, the sibling, the siblings. One realizes my parents favor so and so because of what they're able to do to them. My parents favor my brother because he's very good academically. You know, when this child realizes, what are they supposed to do? How do they handle it? You know, continue living in the same sadness and what? Because I acknowledge already that I am rejected. You know, my parents don't like me because I don't deliver, I don't perform. What are they supposed to do? Just live normally, assuming that it is okay, this will be my life?
You see, there are people who don't perform, maybe because you don't give them enough attention. There are people who can do very well in class.
Yeah, but now that is the parent side.
Yes.
It is the parent to realize,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But so now I have realized that my parents don't do this to me because I do not do this. What do? Do I get back to them and tell them, Mom and Dad, you are wrong for favoring Catherine over me because of this? What do I do?
You see, it depends with how you relate with your parents. But remember, we said if you have to heal from the rejection, you start by talking about it. Let your parents know that you feel they're treating you in an unfair way. That is why you're not able to perform well.
You should let them know.
Yes.
Okay.
You should let them know if they are approachable. If they're not approachable, maybe you'd want to approach someone who is neutral and who can help you in the process.
Okay.
Yes. You can even seek counseling support. Because remember, when you feel the whole world is judging you, then you need to get a neutral person. You need also to engage a professional if you're in a position to, or if you have someone who can support you in the process. Come for counseling, and then in the process, you'll be taught on how to handle rejection and how to go about it. Yes. And then again, you'll be able to make firm decisions about what you want, rather than just pity yourself, isolate yourself, feel lonely, and get depression because of those acts. There's a way out. Just through speaking out and reaching out for support. Yes.
A lot of times there's no safe space to speak out. And whenever you try to speak out, you even face double rejection, because people look at you and wonder, you know, why they try to adapt stuff about you and they don't really get it, you know. Where is this? Is there really a safe space for people who have been rejected to speak? Of course, counselors, maybe in their professional ethics, they're not supposed to talk about your issues with the next or third party, you know. But sometimes when you are rejected, it is so much hurting, and sometimes you don't even have the economical ability to reach out and see a counselor.
Yeah, you can reach out to a close friend. Remember, we talked about you identifying the people in your circle who are more supportive to you, because you can't lack like one or two people at least you can talk to. And these are people who comfort you because they already know your characters, they've already accommodated your personality, and they know how to help you out. So we need to identify from your circle whom you're close to, talk to them about it. Maybe they've also gone through the same thing and they're able to share the experience with you that will console you, rather than just keep quiet. The only issue is just keeping quiet, because the moment you keep quiet, there's no one who will ever know what you're going through. So before you get to a professional, just talk to someone who is close to you and someone you can relate with.
Okay.
That is the first step.
You had said it's normal to be rejected.
Yes.
How many times should you be rejected for you to actually go slow about it and say it's normal to be rejected? You know, sometimes you're turned down only once, sometimes you're turned down only twice. But when this is the nature of your life, you know, in a relationship, I'm turned down. At the office, I'm turned down. In school, I'm turned down. Everywhere, you know, you get married, you're turned down, you're rejected everywhere by everyone that you meet. Is that abnormal?
No, it is not. Okay, to me, I would say it's not abnormal, depending with how you view it. Remember, it is all in the mind. It is what you feed your mind with. Because if you keep thinking that no one loves you, then you'll never be able to move on. You'll think that is what leads to suicide. People thinking like they're not valued, they're not worthy to live. There's no reason for them living anymore.
So it's something they have to conquer from the mind.
Yes, you have to conquer it from your mind. You have to feed your mind with positive thoughts and sentiments. Because people who have fixed mindsets are not able to move on, because all the time you'll be blaming yourself on your personalities, on what people are saying. You'll be looking down upon yourself, and in fact the worst thing about rejection is not even the rejection itself.
It's what you think about it.
It is how you think about the rejection. Because the moment you listen to what every other person is saying, and the moment you try to figure out maybe things are not working out your way, nothing seems to be working, you see it is in the mind. So self-criticism is the one that leads to suicide.
I get it.
Yes.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Please tell your parting shot to our viewers.
So what I would like to say is, maybe I can give 3 parting shots. One is, says have zero tolerance to self-criticism. And then again, rejection is not the issue. It is how you handle the rejection. And then again, if you've been rejected and you're finding it hard to move on and you're not able to talk to anyone about it, just reach out to a professional, a counselor. You know, even if it's in your church, even if it is in school, just try to reach out to someone who is close to you. If you don't have someone, of course, you can confined to, you can also reach out to us. You can just speak out about it, and I know you're going to get the help that you want to.
Good.
So sometimes counseling is not also expensive. There are places that offer free counseling services. So if you're not able to offer get counseling services in some institution, just talk about it and you can be referred appropriately to the institutions that offer free counseling services. And I'm sure through that you're going to get support.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
besides that, for anyone who may want to reach out to our services, I'm the founder of Integrated Holistic Psychotherapy. It is a counseling firm that is based in Ruiru. Ruiru is in Kiambu County. We are based in a building that is called Doctors Plaza. It is directly opposite Coop Bank, ground floor. You can also reach out through our phone numbers, 0729 569381. And I'm sure through that way, we'll be able to help each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for coming. It was
Thanks.
good to host you. Thank you, viewer, for watching Handling Depression. I guess for sure you have got it right that the issue and the problem is actually not rejection, but how you look at it in your mind. It can actually be solved. You can overcome it. Thank you for watching. My name is Betty Akuku. I have been your host. See you next time.